Okay, so this lesson is very similar to yesterday. It's still about ordering numbers and understanding the relationships of numbers. Greater than, less than, equal to kind of a thing. But this one is focusing on actually ordering more than 2. So really, this lesson is all about greatest to least or least to greatest. So if I have numbers, first off, when we are doing greatest to least or least to greatest, no matter what the instruction says, you guys like to make it opposite day. It says write them greatest to least. I say write them greatest to least. We underlined the words that say greatest to least. And then you give me least to greatest. So here are some strategies on how to hold ourselves accountable and how to ensure that we don't get caught up in that. So let's say I have 3 numbers here. I have 18,188. I have 20,275. And I have 15,251. And I need to order them from greatest to least. Here's what I do. First, I'm going to set myself up to get this right. Greatest, middle, least. There are my little symbols right here. That means the number that is the greatest is going to go up here next to the G because I always start at the top and go down. The number that is the least will be up here. If I were to do it the other way and I was being asked to do it in least to greatest, the L would be on top and the G would be on the bottom. Now, I go through and I look at the numbers. I'm not trying to get them in order now. I'm just trying to figure out which one comes out obviously first. 18,000, 20,000, 15,000. So already right there, do I even need to look at the hundreds? No, I don't. Which is the biggest? 1, 2, 1. Well, 2 is the biggest. So 20,275 is the greatest. Now I'm down to these two. I've already taken care of that guy. 18 versus 15. Well, I know 18 is larger, so I'm going to put 18, 1, 8, 8, and then 15, 2, 5, 1. So doing it this way, and also these numbers are very obvious. I never even had to look further, but I promise you, you're going to get to some numbers that are going to be a little bit more challenging. Let's try another one with the numbers 7,502, 6,793, 6,723. And now I want them to be in order from least to greatest. So to set myself up, I'm going to write my L. I'm going to skip a space. I'm going to write my G. That tells me this is the order I'm writing them in, from least to greatest. Now I go through and see which one sticks out the most. I do my dots just like I did yesterday. 7, 6, 6. Okay, well, 7 is the greatest. So I'm going to write my 7 down here. 7,502. Now that's out of the way. I can cross it off so I don't have to look at it anymore. Now it's between these guys. 6, 6, 7, 7, 9, 2. All right, that's where the numbers are different. So I'm using the tens place to figure out which one is greater. Which one's bigger, 9 or 2? 9. So is 9 going on the first line or the second line?
Second.
The second line. That's where also I can make a mistake because we always tend to go for the greater number. We always tend to find which one is greater. We don't usually say, well, which one is less. So be aware which one you're looking at and make sure you're putting it in the appropriate spot. 6,793 and then 6,723. Okay? Let's try one more. 80,371. 15,048, 80,137. And again, I'd like them to be least to greatest. One very clearly stands out, which you should immediately be able to notice. 818. So my 15,000 is very obviously the smallest number there. I crossed it off, I'm done with it now. Okay, 8080, that's the same. 31, that's where I'm looking, as my hundredths place is gonna tell me. Okay, I don't have my middle number, I don't have my greatest number. So which one of these is greater, the 3 or the 1? 3 is greater, so I would write this one down here. That is the greatest number. And then here in the middle is my middle guy. Okay? Now, there is another way that we can look at ordering numbers from least to greatest, and that is using a number line. Now, number lines are kind of annoying to have to draw, but they are really helpful when you're laying it out. And using grid paper makes it even better. So let's practice that. Let's say I've got the numbers. Do it in a different color so we can see better. I've got the numbers 410,000, 950,000, 690,000. And I need to put these in order on a number line. And here's the number line that I have been given. When I draw a number line, I'm going to go all the way across my paper, from the very first square to the very last square. In my book here, I start at 400,000. I end at 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm noticing how they've set up this number line that every few, so I don't have a halfway point, but I go from 400 to 600 to 800 to 1 million. So I'm going to go, okay, well, let's say that's about 600. And maybe that's about 800. Is this totally accurate?
No.
No, it's not. In fact, this one looks like it should be over some a little bit, but you know what? I really don't care that much about it because it's still going to get me what I need. So I'm going to label this part as the 600,000. I'm going to label this part as the 800,000. That means in the middle here is 700,000, right?
Yeah.
So let's say right here is 700,000. Now let me look at the numbers I'm dealing with. 410,000. Well, I automatically know 410,000 is going to be right next to 400,000 because they're super close. And if I were to go any further along, I'd hit 600,000 in no time. So I can tell just by this. I'm going to put a big dot right here. I'm going to label that dot as 410,000. Now let me look at my next number, 950,000. Okay, well, that's clearly going to be past 800,000. In fact, if I were to look from here to here and find a halfway point, that's probably right there, 900,000. So I'll go right here, one more square over. Make that 950,000. So I've got this one done, I've got this one done. Now I'm down to 690. Well, luckily I just figured out where 700,000 was. 690 is right before it. Again, are these accurate?
No.
If I were to really, really be accurate about this, I would need a lot more space.
Yeah.
But did I just order my numbers in order from least to greatest? Yeah, I did. Did I do them in any order? No, I just kind of put them where they needed to go. So using a number line can be really helpful when it comes to seeing it actually laid out where it's supposed to go. And seeing, well, here's 400 and 600, so I just got to figure out where 400 goes. And it's more like I'm just plotting numbers, and then I'm looking back and going, okay, well, so that's the least, that's the greatest, that's in the middle. Okay? So the rest of this lesson is actually taking you back to just comparing numbers. We know how to do that. That was just what our previous lesson was. When we're comparing numbers, we need to make sure that we are looking at each place value and not rushing through. Mistakes are made not because we don't know what numbers are bigger than other numbers, but because our brains can play tricks on us. A 5 and a 3 and then a 3 and a 5, your brain might see 2 5 and 3s together. You got to look very carefully. So even if you feel like it looks obvious, still go. Okay, 7, 7, 8, 3. Okay, so 8 is bigger than 3, and then write your mark. It doesn't take any extra time, but it will make all the difference in getting it right or wrong. If you're just trying to look at it, even I make mistakes that way. Because literally your brain will play tricks on you. Okay? Sound good? Cool.